Okay, so good evening again. So this will be the continuation of our video number 2. And we'll be discussing the last cognitive faculty of our learner. And this is now on intellect. So what is intellect? Intellect is another cognitive faculty of our learners. By the learner's intellect, he or she can now engage in cognitive processes such as conceptualization or formation of ideas. He or she can now reason out, and he or she can now make judgment. Actually, this conceptualization, this reasoning, and judgment or judging is part of the cognitive process. Ibig sabihin, on the intellect, this is the ability of our learners now, no, to engage in processing cognition, to engage in the processes of acquiring new and existing knowledge. So it has three main process. Again, as we have said, we have the concept formation or formation of a schema, we have reasoning or analyzing, and we have judging or evaluating. So for us to understand this cognitive process, no, the development of the cognition or intellect of our learners, let's talk about John Peltier. This man here is John Peltier, and he is one of the forefathers of education. In essence, no, isa siya sa mga kinikilala sa education sector because of his theory, the theory of cognitive development. However, no, I will let that discussion handled by Mr. Carl Reyes on your child and adolescent psychology because he's the psychologist, no? Siya yung may major doon, hindi ako. So, however, matatouch ko siya because on the cognitive process na pinag-uusapan natin like concept formation, reasoning, and judging, it now comes on his or it actually hit the idea of John Peltier on assimilation process and on accommodation process. That according to him, we have this process of assimilation and accommodation, but there are several areas kung saan the formation of the concepts, the reasoning, and the judging comes in. This is where assimilation, equilibration, and disequilibrium comes in. So, ano ba itong processes na to? Let's look about it. According to John Peltier's theory of cognitive development, we have here several steps on how learners try to process information, try to process a schema or concept niya, based on their experiences. Remember our topic on memory, di ba? Sabi ko sa inyo, on memory, there is brain processes. Una, reception of the information, then, pag na-receive yun, they will store it, and then, nandoon siya sa ating brain bank, and then when the stimulus comes in, gagamitin natin, i-retrieve natin siya to use that. Now, according to John Peltier, we have our past experiences. And that past experiences contains information, contains the responses that we have on certain stimulus. Now, because of that, that experiences na naalala natin can get processed or can be added by new information. So, paano ba ito? Let's give this example of John Peltier. Now, for example, schemes of learning natin. This child, mga 1 to 2 years old, you can observe this sa mga pamangkin nyo. You can see them quite holding something and they keep on banging and banging on something. They try to, actually the schema in there is banging, yung pagpukpok nila. And this way, they could assess whether the material is sturdy enough or cannot be broken. So, when they have this dumbbell-shaped toy and they bang it on a surface and it still is in the dumb dumbbell form, then the baby will say, "Oh, this is strong, so I can play it by banging on anything. It will not get broken." So the next time that you will be introducing a new object to the child, that child now will, since ang favorite scheme niya is to bang, that cube-shaped now toy will be banged on something that is solid, no? And if it is not broken, then it adds on its schema na. Okay, if the material is shaped like this, it will not be broken even if I bang it. Now, if the material is shaped like this and I could grasp it, no, I could hold it, then even if I bang it, it will not get broken. This is where assimilation comes in. So, nag-a-assimilate siya kasi itong shape na to, okay, hindi siya mababasag. And then, with the new toy, ito, nagkakaroon ka ngayon ng, oh, it did not got broken. So, there is no equilibration coming in also. Kasi, this shape is the same with that shape and it will not be broken. Now, what if the child, no, yung bata naglaro and it gets its hand on the eggs na binili mo? Now, that child, since the favorite schema is banging the material na any material na nag-grasp niya, nahawakan niya. So, sa bata, sabi niya, oh, I can hold this material. Then this is solid like the dumbbell and the cube shape. So, they will bang it on a surface again. But this time, the child now gets shocked because the material got broken. Then the child will say, why is that possible? That dumbbell is something I grasped and it did not get broken when I banged it. That cube shape, I had handled it, I did grasp it, I banged it, it did not got broken. Why is this now? No? This new material na ito, I hold it, they get another egg, bang it, got broken. Get another one, bang it, and get broken. So, there is now new situation. Why is that? That even if I could grasp this material, it gets broken when I do the bang or when pag pinalo ko siya. This is where this equilibrium comes in. Pumapasok na ngayon sa bata dito yung disequilibrium. Sabi niya, when he holds again the dumbbell and tried to smash it, oh, okay, it does not get broken. When he holds the cube and smash it, it did not broken. But when the egg, if I will smash this, it will be broken. So, hindi niya hawakan yan. Hindi niya babasagin yan. So, this equilibrium here comes in. So, ang mangyari dito, no? Why is it that this one, I could grasp, but it got broken? This one, it could grasp, but did not. So, ang mangyayari dito, the next time that this child gets the experience to see this dumbbell and this cube, and because he loves smashing things, he will grasp this too. Why? Because it will not get broken. No? Yan na lang ang lalaruin niya kasi hindi yan mababasag because favorite nga niyang schema is banging. The next time that he or she will see an egg, he will not play with it. Why? Because it will not be smashed and splashed multiple times. Then there is now accommodation. Okay? Ito yung sinasabi ni John Piaget. During the assimilation, there is concept formation. They have this child conceptualized now that this cannot be broken, even multiple smashing. No, I could grasp this material, I could smash this material, and it will not get broken. I could grasp again this cube material. I could smash it multiple times, but it will not be broken. This one, I could grasp it, this oval one, this white one, but when I smash it, it gets broken. I'm not happy with that. I cannot play with that thing because I want smashing materials. So the child will accommodate that Okay, the next time that I will play, I will just be using this and be using this, and I will not use this because it will not give me the satisfaction of the smashing effect. Then there is now reasoning behind that, or analyzing, and therefore next time before the child will smash something, there's judgment. They will look at the material. Okay, I could smash this, and so on. This is what John Pelgey's cognitive development is. It's innate to us learners, it's innate to every one of us that we learn, we develop our intellect by having assimilating different schemas or information, no? So, in here, sa equilibration, kasi ang nangyari dito, is this, you have this past schema, no? Ang past schema ng bata dito is the dumbbell. The new schema is the cube. So, ang nangyari dito, is this cube a new schema totally, or it does reinforce my previous schema? So, dito sa cube natin sa letter B, it's just reinforces his previous schema. So, equilibration. There's no problem. Tatanggapin ng bata. Tatanggapin ng ating cognitive process na, okay, you smash and smash this, it will not get broken. Now, if there's a new situation like what happens on the egg, then there is this equilibrium. This thing, I could grasp, but I could not smash it multiple times. It gets broken. So, the next time na mag-play siya, I will be just getting this 2, the A and B, because even if multiple smashing, it will not get broken. Then there's accommodation. Iiwasan na ngayon ng bata yung egg na laruin kasi hindi niya makukuha yung satisfaction of smashing things from here. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi ni John Pelgey. And then, again, but don't be confused, it doesn't end there. Even if the child have accommodated that, then if you give this child another material and will smash it again, then there is again, babalik na naman yan, aakyat na naman siya sa assimilation stage. Will I assimilate? Assimilation, equilibration, then accommodation? Or is it assimilation, disequilibrium, or accommodation again? So, mamimili ngayon yan. There's a process in our brain. Our brain now analyzes that. Siguro you cannot just, hindi mo lang siya napapansin that it happens. But you do analyze things, no? You do look at that. For example na lang, no, sa love. Sa first mo, ikaw na lang, sabihin natin, si jowa mong yan. First, ito yung jowa mo, no? Si jowa mong to. Okay, you have together, okay, mabait siya, ganyan. And then, no, nangaliwa, nag-leftist siya. Nag-try siya ng ibang, So, okay, patatawarin ko siya. Okay naman. Equilibration. Kasi tinanggap mo pa rin siya sa schema mo. Okay? Sige. The next time, second try, nag-leftist na naman. Ay, loko na naman niya ako. Pero hindi. Mahal ko kasi siya. Yun ang schema mo eh. Mahal ko kasi siya. Patatawarin ko siya. So, trial 3. Trial 3 na naman tayo. Let's do a trial 3. Pangatlo. Nangaliwa siya ulit. And your heart got broken. That is where now talaga this equilibration comes in. So, you will be now judging, accommodating. Will I accommodate him? Tatanggapin ko pa ba siya? Or not na? That's 1, 2, 3. So, sasabihin mo, 1 is enough, 2 is too much, 3 is stupidity. Okay, I will judge, hindi ko na tatanggapin. Accommodation. The next time, no? This is, sabihin natin, B, next boyfriend mo. Magkakaroon ka ngayon ng assimilation. This time sa assimilation mo, iba na ang titingnan mo. So, medyo ka na ngayon sa trust issues mo. Kaso dito, iba na naman ang natutunan mo sa boyfriend number 2 mo. Something to do with money. So, magkakaroon ka na naman ba ng equilibration, disequilibrium, or accommodation? This is what happens to you. Yung pagde-decide mo based on your experiences, based on your schema. This is what John Pelche is stating. Diba? Pagka tungkol sa jowa-jowa, naiintindihan mo agad. Okay, another, para mas simpleng example natin here. The schema is on a cat. Now, the child builds a theory for the assimilation. No? The child now will build a theory that if this animal, this is a cat, it has pointy ears, no? This is a cat. Meron siyang pointy ears here, here. Meron siyang whiskers. It has 4 feet. It has a tail. It's color orange. And it is meowing. No? Nagmamiyaw siya. Now, if the animal is meowing, if the animal has pointy ears, if the animal has whiskers, has 4 feet, tail, and color orange, then this is a cat. That's a schema. Now, the next thing that the cat again saw someone or saw an animal like this. No, so equilibrium na tayo or equilibration. The cat has whiskers, check. The cat has ears, check. The cat has tails, check. The cat has 4 tails, check. The cat has orange fur, check. And on its sleeping, it says meow. No? Nag-meow pa rin siya habang natutulog siya. Then for the child, everything fits the theory. Then this is a cat. Equilibration. Okay? However, there will be disequilibration if there is a new situation. Like this. That child now saw this animal. It has pointy ears. Check. It has 4 feet. Check. It has whiskers. Check. It has tail. Check. No? Ano pa? It is meowing. It says meow to me also. No? But the color is white and black. Diba ang cat is orange? Then, there is now doubt on the theory or on the schema that the child, has think on the assimilation process. Is this a cat? Now, this is where analyzing comes in. But it has pointy ears. It has whiskers. It has 4 feet. It has a tail. No? It is meowing. But the color is white and black. But it's meowing. It acts like a cat. So, after a while now, the child will observe that and will accept that that's Ming also. So, yung disequilibration niya, it will add now on his previous schema that whatever color is this animals, as long as they have pointy ears, they have tail, they have 4 feet, they have whiskers, and they are meowing, they are all cats. Accommodation. That is what John Felge is stating. That is how we process cognition. And that is how the intellect of your learners gets developed. That is how the intellect process, the cognitive process happens. No? Kaya nga, John Felge's cognitive development is said to be an intra-psychology. Kumbaga, cognition within ang nangyayari. This is also why, in the early, let's put it in here, the early childhood education, we call it ECE, early childhood education. Ano yung early childhood education? This includes, it includes yung mga prep, sa preparatory. I'm sorry, hindi makapagsulat ng ayos. This is prep. We have on kindergarten in grades 1 to 6. Sila yung mga nasa early childhood education. Pansinin niyo po, on the prep up to grade 2, 3, they let children play. They let learning involves playing, singing. No? They let them go to outside. May mga break time sila na pinapalaro sila sa labas. Why do they do that? They do an approach called as Montessori approach, kung saan they try to let no, they try to let the children exposing them to different things so that they will use their five senses. So, ang mangyayari dito, why do they need to do that? Because it will be innate, according nga kay Pelgi, innate sa atin ang mag-assimilate and mag-accommodate ng new information. We will relate things. Palagi na nga lang, di ba? Yung mga marites sa mundo natin, nire-relate nila sa tamang hinala palagi. Relate yan. And then they will reinterpret yan. I-reinterpret nila. Ay, ganun ba? Kasi ganito yan eh. Hindi, ganito yan. Bigyang meaning agad. So, and then they will reflect on that as to whether tama ba yung pagbibigay nila ng meaning doon? Ay, mali pala. So, kung mali ang meaning nila doon, maling meaning pala in-attach ko, then they will revise. They will accommodate the information. And that revised experiences. Now, meron na naman bago sa environment. They will relate it again to that experience. They will assimilate, and so on. Iikot at iikot ito. And by this process of assimilation, equilibrium, accommodation, assimilation, disequilibrium, accommodation, there is now a cognitive process. It now increases cognition. It increases the intellect of our learners. So, within ourselves, we have this also, the assimilation and accommodation. Now, so, ito yung isang form. However, no, kay John Pelge, kung may intra, alam niyo naman po yan, kung may inside, merong outside. And this is where Vygotsky's theory of social-cultural comes in. So, si Lev Vygotsky, yun, siya. Tama siya. Si Lev Vygotsky here is the one of another forefather, in terms of the intellect or cognitive development of our learners. No, according to Lev Vygotsky, sabi niya, paring Pelge, hindi ka naman mali. However, may kulang sa theory mo. According to Lev Vygotsky on the social-cultural theory, it views human development and cognitive development. He views that it is socially mediated process. When you say it's a socially mediated process, cognitive processes is mediated within the, by the society. Children now will acquire cultural beliefs, values, and problem-solving strategies. What you are, what is your gestures, how you arrive, how you process problems, how you do things, is actually mediated by your environment or your society. Kaya nga yung cultural beliefs mo, values, and problems, they are all acquired by children through collaborative dialogues with more knowledgeable individuals or members of the society. Dito nyo nasasabihin yung, it takes a village to raise a child. No? This is where that comes in. That village that you're talking about there is the more knowledgeable other or individual. And our children will learn from these more knowledgeable members or others through collaborative dialogues. Ibig sabihin, may interaction. We have interactions with them, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. So, dito, for example, ito yung sinasabi natin kay John Pelge kanina, the schema of the cat, no? That all of those, basta nagmamyaw, that it satisfies the theory, they belong to the schema of a cat. No? However, ang sinasabi ni Lady Godsky, that's not all, no? Yes, you do assimilation and you do accommodation. But, sabi niya, there is the more knowledgeable other that is involved. So, for example, no? That cat, ito yung alam niya sa cat. Ito yung meow, meow, meow na yan, na merong fur, may ganyan, and so on, orange color. Yun ang kanyang schema for the cat. Now, when this boy goes to a zoo or wherever and he saw this animal, the first thing that pops into his mind is, oh, cat. Now, there is now his sister, this more knowledgeable member, no? More knowledgeable sa kanya, member ng society saying, no, that's not a cat, that's a cub. She will now teach the difference of a cub and a cat to this boy. Then this boy will now accommodate the information. This is where now the cat will say, oh, I know how to differentiate. Oh, I know this is a cat and this is a cub. Why did I know this? Because my ate says the difference of these two animals. Ito ang sinasabi ni Leigh Vygotsky. It emphasizes the fundamental role of social interaction in the development of cognition. There is the society, the interaction within there will now explain or will now help the child develop its cognition or its intellect. Actually, it does not only mean, no, it does not only mean that you need to take verbal language, no. You can also take non-verbal. So, for example, on airports, ganyan, it's your first time. For example, sa akin, yung first time ko lang sasakay ng airplane. What should I do? Where would I go? Saan ba ako pupunta? You will be observing people. No? Tinitingnan mo yung mga non-verbal. Hindi ka na yung pag-usap, but you are observing those more knowledgeable members dun sa loob ng airport. Kung ano yung first step na ginawa nila, observan mo, then you will look, saan sila susunod? Susunod. You will analyze, okay. And then next. And then the next thing you will do, you are copying the mechanism of that more knowledgeable individual. Ginagaya mo na siya. That is where social interaction comes in. And that is what Vygotsky is saying, that the cognitive development, your cognition or intellect is socially mediated. May effect ang outside. Meron tayong pinag-usapang MKO or the more knowledgeable other, our significant others. No, for example, sa home. Sino ba ang MKO ng mga bata sa home? Let's see this example of the picture. No? This child here, no? This child knows. Okay, I'm so sorry, no? We lost power, so there's an interruption. But yeah, fight ito, tuloy laban, tuloy turo. Again, so this child here, no, had a schema of what is a dog is. Sa schema niya, a dog is something that has 4 legs again, it has a tail, and it's brown in color. So this child now, and it is found within their home. Now, this child now sees another animal at home. It has still the same color, brown. It has 4 legs and a tail. So for the child, she will call it doggy. So that's doggy over there. No, instead of calling this as Ming Ming, that's a doggy. Why? Because this animal, this animal here is a new concept to the child. Kung new concept yan to the child, hindi niya tatawagin yan as Mingming kasi bago nga sa kanya. She will call it as doggy because that's the schema, that's the experience, that's the knowledge that it has, on his brain, on her cognition or her understanding. So, ngayon, dito papasok yung function ni mommy at ni daddy. Dito na papasok ang parents, wherein these parents now will serve as the more knowledgeable one. He will now tell this child na, anak, magkaiba si doggy magkaiba si Mingming. These are two different animals. Now, this MKO now, this more knowledgeable one, itong tatay naman ngayon, ang siyang magtuturo sa bata ng difference. This is where Levi-Gotsky's idea come in. Yung more knowledgeable one. Yung learning is through the, na pumapasok ang learning sa social interaction. There is a presence of a significant other teaching learners the correct, or leading, facilitating, helping the learners, on processing, on processing cognition or processing new information. So, paano ba to? So, for example, in school scenario, okay? In the school scenario, we teachers or kayo na future teachers will be the one coined as the more knowledgeable one. Tayo yung magsisilbing significant other ng mga students natin in guiding them, for example, solving mathematics, no? You will be the one doing that, or teaching them, or showing them what's the process or how is the process of doing this. You are that. These children now will learn, according to Lev Vygotsky, by our collaborative dialogue with them, by our social interaction with them. So, to further what's a social-cultural theory, tingnan natin itong pinopropose ni Lev Vygotsky. According to Lev Vygotsky, ang isang bata, the learner has this in their brain, okay, sa kanila. We have those beyond their reach. Ibig sabihin, sa cognition ng bata, may area doon na hindi niya kaya mag-isa. Hindi niya kayang gawin, hindi niya kayang isolve mag-isa. So, that is beyond their reach, no? Meron naman silang ability, meron naman kanilang zone sa kanilang brain na they can do the activity, they can answer the questions, they can answer the test, as long as there is this MKO present. This is that part. And then, there is also a part in their ability or cognition, sa kanilang development na without the MKO or without the more knowledgeable one, they could already do the task. They could already answer the test on their own without your help. They could do that already. This is this area. So, anong area na to? We have three main areas according to Lev Vygotsky in his social cultural theory. One, yung unang sinabi ko, beyond their reach. They cannot do the task. They cannot perform. They cannot answer the test on their own. Hindi nila kaya talaga, umiiyak sila. This is what you call as the zone of eventual development. Eventual, no? And then, this one, in the presence of a more knowledgeable one or a significant other, they now become or they can perform the task. For example, in here, makikita mo si teacher in here that she is guiding this learner on his task, sa kanyang mathematics. This is this area na accomplish ng bata sagutin ito because there is a significant other present. There is someone guiding me. This is now the zone of proximal development. At the proximity of that MKO, that more knowledgeable other na yan, I can perform the task. And then, this is naman now the zone of actual development. Actual, ibig sabihin, they have already or they can now already do the task with or without you, kahit wala ka, kahit na mag-isa na lang siya, they can perform that task already. Why? Because, they have already known kung paano niyang gagawin. So, for example, in here, dito, zone of proximal pa lang itong lahat ng nakikita niyong picture. Why? Because there is this MKO here, nandito tayong mga teachers, guiding, teaching them, letting them know what they do not know. This is here on the Yung hindi nila alam dito, gina-guide natin sila. Hindi ko alam gawin yan, ma'am. Hindi ko nga alam yung sinasabi mo. Kaya nga merong presence ng more knowledgeable one in here. So, tayo ang tuturo sa kanila, mag-guide sa kanila so that in the future, no, they could develop the skill, they could develop the ability so that they can do the activity on their own. The zone of actual development. Now, according to Levygotsky, ano ulit ito? Pag sinabi mong zone of eventual, they cannot yet accomplish it. No? Then, kapag zone of proximal, at the presence of a more knowledgeable other, significant other, they can perform the ability. Kaya nga proximity, proximal, at the proximity of someone, I can do the task. And then zone of actual in here, that child can already, function on his or her own. Without your presence, they can do it already. So, as teachers, tayong mga significant others, significant others, tayong mga, significant others or more knowledgeable others that students relied on to, our job, no, is to bridge those that they cannot, will not, do not know, papunta sa something they can do it already. Yun yung trabaho natin. It's our job, no? Since tayo yung more knowledgeable one, it's our job now to put our students from the zone of eventual one papunta sa zone of actual development. Kumbaga, from Z, dapat mapunta natin siya sa Z. No? How do we do that? We do that by scaffolding. So, ano ang scaffolding? Kung mga lalaki ito, alam niyo po ito sa construction, no? Scaffolding yung hagdan. So, ma'am, gagamit tayo ng hagdan? Paano yun? So, let's look at what do I mean when I say scaffolding. So, as you can see in here, no? As you can see in here, this is what we talk about doon sa scaffolding sa sociocultural theory. Ito yung, this is where MKO comes in. Ito yung sinasabi ni Levygotsky na tayong mga MKO, tayo ngayon ang mag-bridge from the zone of eventual na development to zone of actual development. Paano po ba yan kasi? Scaffolding nga. So, when you say scaffolding, alam niyo naman po scaffolding. Step by step by step. Bago ka makaakyat sa pinakataas, kailangan mo munang humakbang sa first step, second step, third step, fourth step, hanggang sa ma-reach mo yung sa pinakataas. So, the same in learning, sabi niya, or the development of the intellect of our learners. Sabi ni Vygotsky, step by step. So first step here, the first leap from the zone of, zone of eventual here, yung Z natin sa dulo, dapat pagdating natin dito, meron na siyang finish na zone of actual development. So, ito yung zone of actual, burahin ko lang, baka magkamali po kayo in the future. Zone of actual development. Ibig sabihin po, itong mga ito, itong tatlong ito, itong area na to na hagdan is the zone of proximal development. Step by step natin silang tuturuan. So, first step, second step, third step, hanggang sa ma-reach ng bata ang zone of actual development. So, how do we do that? Una, yung model. So, anong gagawin mo sa classroom? Paano natin maitatawid ang mga bata? So, una, yung model it. Ikaw muna. You show them. No? Sa board, ikaw muna ang gagawa ng problem. Kung chemistry yan, kung may problem dyan, or kailangan ng computations, ikaw, ipakita mo muna ang step by step na way para ma-solve nila yung molarity, modality, o kung sa mathematics, and step by step. So, you model, okay class, so, first step, given. Second step, write the formula. Third step, ganito. Even on research, no? How will you compute for the sample size? O sabi mo, okay, mga first step, use the Sloven's formula. O, this is the Sloven's formula. For the next step, you compute for the error. O, the next step, you plug in your given. Okay, next step, you followed the law of if mad. Ano? Exponent first, kamo. Then you follow that with the parentheses, then multiplication, addition, then division para makompute mo to. Then, i-model mo siya. So, if, ma'am, sapat na po ba ang isang problem na? As much as possible, isa, dalawa, tatlo, hanggat nakikita mo sa mga bata, you can see naman, di ba, sabi ko sa kanya, you can see question marks floating on their forehead kapag naintindihan nila or hindi. So, kung hindi na nakuha sa isang example, gawin mo pa, dalawa, tatlong scenario problem. Then, go for it. That is where modeling comes in. Now, after you model, no? Or for example, in the laboratory, no? I am also teaching students, no? Sa laboratory, tinuturuan ko sa on proper na pagsalin ng liquid from this, from one container to another. Guiding or modeling. So, ang gagawin mo, sabihin mo sa bata, when you're transferring liquids, you make sure that the lid of one container touches the lid of the other container, or the lid of this one transferring bottle should touch the lid of the storing bottle. So when you transfer, dapat nagdidikit. So you model it, okay? Ganito. You don't have this, hindi ganyan. Ganito, ibaba mo siya sa table like that. And, ibaba mo siya sa table, kunwari table yan, ibaba mo siya sa table, hawakan mo, and then transfer it, touching the lid. Model it. Okay, when you do water and acid, ganito naman. So, when you, hindi pwedeng water and transfer mo sa acid, baligtarin mo. So, that's modeling. Now, in guiding, no, the next step is to guide. Mostly teachers pa rin tayo. Ang mangyayari naman dito is that, tingnan mo siya. No, you will look. Okay, nandito ako. I'm here. Can you show me how you transfer liquids? No, minsan mga bata, hawak yan, nanginginig pa. Wag ka namang manginig. Ganito. Again, ha? O, ganyan. Tuturo mo sa kanya. That's guiding. The next time on the laboratory, they will know how to transfer liquids. They will know which one to transfer first and not to transfer, especially when you're handling acids, base, or any toxic materials or chemicals. No? Guiding. So, ang gawin mo ngayon, okay. Yung isa namang ka-group mo, can you show how you do it? Okay, the next one. Okay, the next one. So, syempre, habang pinapagawa mo sa kanila yon, you're also assessing. Meron kang rubrics, may assessment record ka din. Ginigradean mo rin sila. And then, no, gradual release, hindi ka na lang nakatayo dun sa kanya at binabantayan mo. You are now moving around. Ma'am, tama po ba to? Ma'am, tama po ba to? Gaganyan ng mga bata sa'yo. No? Sabihin mo, since natapos mo naman na ang modeling and guiding, nandito ka na sa gradual release. What do you think so? What have you learned? So, gradually, bibitawan mo ngayon yung students mo doon sa kanya. Okay. Kayo naman na mag-solve. Okay, anong sagot mo? Can you do it on the board? Gaganyanin mo yung mga bata, no? Okay, so, on the board. Ikaw naman, i-check mo siya ngayon. And then, sa gradual release, eto na yung hindi mo na totally sasagutin ng mga tanong nila na, ma'am, tama po ba? Ganito, ganyan. Kasi alam naman na nilang tama yun. They are already doing that. They just want confirmation to you. So, ikaw, challenge mo naman sila. What do you think? Do you think it's right? Did you follow the process? Yes, ma'am. O, then that will be correct. O, you do the, tawag mo dito, try to yung sa correction, yung parang try to backtrack kung tama yung sa solution mo, pwede mo silang gawin. Until such time that during examinations, formative examinations, summative examinations, you will see, no? Kapag kunwari sa laboratory namin yan. Okay, moving exam, makikita mo na doon. Nandun ka sa isang number, moving exam. Ang nakalagay doon sa question niya sa laboratory is to show your instructor the proper transferring of chemicals. Tapos meron kang iba't ibang chemicals doon para ma-assess mo kung alam niya ba kung ano yung proper way ng pag-transfer ng acids, ng base, ganyan, and so on. So, nandoon ka. That's independent. Now, in the absence mo, kaya mo yan. For example, sasabihin mo doon sa procedure na lang babasahin nila, transfer 45 ml of hydrochloric acid to ganito. So, the next time, alam na ng bata what material to use, how to transfer the hydrochloric acid. That is now achieving the zone of actual development. Kung baga, from the thing that they cannot do, we scaffold them. Dahan-dahan natin silang ipunta sa ZAD sa kanilang pinaka-actual development on the internalization. Kaya na nilang gawin yung isang bagay on their own. Now, how do I do scaffolding, ma'am, sa klase? Kasi hindi pa po ako teacher. So, let's do this. No? I just obtained this illustration on the internet. No? I will be sharing also the link of this one. I-share ko naman po sa inyo. Para mapanood na rin siya to add ideas. No? How do you scaffold? Muna. Paano mo ginagawa ang scaffolding na yan? First, dapat you develop rapport. May rapport ka muna sa bata. You develop the trust of your learners towards you. Then, habang ginagawa mo yan, logistically, dahan-dahan mo ngayon. Law of intensity. Dahan-dahan mo ngayon i-increase yung level ng tinuturo mo. Dahan-dahan mo ngayon i-increase yung difficulty ng mga samples. Dahan-dahan mo ngayon silang turuan towards that. And then, kailangan you select task na appropriate sa mga learners mo. Kasi yan, di ba, law of readiness, kung saan ang mga bata. So, dapat mamili ka rin ng task mo. And then, apply scaffold. Dahan-dahan. Model mo muna, i-guide mo sila, and then you gradually release them, and then pabayaan mo sila to do that. So, nandyan na rin yung gradually remove the scaffold, and so on. Now, meron dito on the whole classroom. Pag-usapan din natin to. I want to emphasize this also. So, paano natin siya gagawin? Here, sa whole classroom, teachers may scaffold activities for the entire class as well. Kasi kung individual learner, kayang-kaya. Ma'am, paano kung yan ay 40 students? Paano kung yan ay more than isa ko lang, tapos 40 students? Actually, in reality, when you go to public schools or even in the university, sometimes ang marami kong na-experience na students sa isang klase, as in sa isang classroom, 76 students, pinagkasya sila sa subject ko kasi wala nang teacher na available and yun na lang talaga available subject. So, pinagkasya silang lahat doon. 76. Now, that's chemistry pa. So, how will you now do that? How will you teach the students now on problem solving? So, dito pumapasok yung scaffolding. So, paano natin gagawin yan? The technique, very simple. I do, we do, you teach. So, ang gagawin mo as a teacher, I do, we do, para naman ako. We do, you do, you teach. So, paano ko ginawa yan? So, for example, in chemistry, I remember when I tried to solve the balancing of equation, or ano pa ba yun? Sa mga significant, yung SF, significant numbers, kailangan matutunan sila. So, ang una mong gagawin for that, lalo na kung may problem solving yan, you do muna, modeling. Gawin mo muna siya. Ikaw muna. Ipakita mo ang process, ipakita mo step by step na dapat nilang gawin. Pagkatapos nun, okay. On the next example, let's try solving together. You solve in there. Okay. Sige. Mr. Ganito, what's the first step? Okay, Mr. What's the second step? Okay, Mr. Ganito, what's the third step? Okay. Can you multiply? Ganito, ganyan. So, we do. As a whole class, you will be doing an example together. In a way, you are now guiding the entire class on trying to solve something on your lesson. Okay? Ganun lang siya. So, mga several examples, 5 examples na magkasama kayo together. Okay. Another example. Can you do it on your own? Ayun, magpa-you-do ka na. Magsosolve sila. Okay, 5 minutes. Try it. Sabi mo ganyan. That's the time na magpahinga ka din, teacher, kasi ang hirap magdaldal na magdaldal. Okay, tingnan-tingnan mo lang sila. Ikot ka on the classroom. Okay, mali yan. Huwag mo sabing mali yan. Okay. Mas maganda, no? When you're a teacher, hindi mo sasabihin sa bata, mali yan. No. Ang sabihin mo, are you sure with your answer? Ganun ka. Pag pumupunta ka doon, titignan mo yung kanilang sagot. Are you sure with your answer? Yan. Oh, are you sure that's the proper step? In a way, questionin mo siya kung yun tama o mali. Huwag mo sabihin agad na mali. Kasi parang ulit na naman siya. So, ang gawin mo, are you sure with your answer? Are you sure with your process? Oh, diba? Parang you gave them the time to process na, tama ba ako? Sasagot pa yan sa'yo. Ay, mali, ma'am, mali. Sila mismo, no? Sila mismo yung makakaisip na, ay, mali pala. So, mali ma'am, babarahin ko po yan. Or, are you sure with the process? Pagtingin niya sa format, ay, multiplication pala. You let your students process. Hindi mo pwedeng spoon feed sa kanya na sabi mo, mali yan, kasi hindi mo na siya tinuturuan to be critical enough at maging maingat sa pagsasagot niya. So, that is on the you do. Students will do it alone. Parang ikaw, overseer ka na lang ganun. Tapos questionin mo siya. Minsan, no, mga mom and sir, hindi lang tuwing may mali siya. Minsan kahit tama na yung sagot niya, puntahan mo ang bata. Are you sure with your answer? Yes, ma'am. Really? Mapapaisip mo. Mapapa-double take ang bata sa'yo. I know, ma'am. Tapos matatawa ka na lang kasi alam mong tama naman siya. Tapos sabi niya, ma'am, tama naman ako kanina. O bakit? I did not say naman na tama o mali ka. I just asked you, are you sure with your answer? Sino ba nag-doubt? Diba? Ikaw. Sabihin mo siya ngayon. So, doon na ay ano yung process of thinking ng bata. No, minsan nakakatuwa din, no? In a way, pag napagod ka, nakakatuwa yung gano'n. Are you sure with your answer? Ganyan ka. So, in that way, napapaisip ngayon yung mga bata sa sagot nila. Minsan din, it's something that you can practice also, no? For example, when you do scaffolding, kapag sa recitation, kapag may sumagot sa'yo, tapos ang very confident si bata, alam mo naman na tama ang sagot niya, no? Tanungin mo siya, are you sure with your answer? Mag-iisip ang bata. Magkakast ka ng doubt. Tapos sabi niya, iisip yung bata, mag-iisip. Yes, ma'am? Kaya ganun. Minsan yan bata sa'yo eh. O bakit ka nagda-doubt? Kaya ganun ka sa. Kasi ma'am, you asked me. I never said it's wrong. So, dito in a process, no, katulad sinasabi ko sa inyo sa memorization skills, you pause, you ask. In that way, nakikita mo that they are retrieving in their memory, no? Kung ano yung ginawa mo. At the same time, you are enhancing their cognitive process. And the last step for scaffolding is you teach. Ma'am, bakit kailangan mong paturo ang bata? Sometimes, when they repeat, no? When they repeat the information with others or with other classmates, na-enhance pa rin yung kanilang understanding or cognitive process in there. Kasi, kapag siya na yung nagtuturo sa kapwa niya, no, nakakapagpalitan sila ng teacher. Actually, it's one of the teaching strategy yung peer teaching. Yan. Maganda rin na ma-enhance yan kasi sometimes some of the learners will not listen to you. Mas parang tinitingnan pa nilang more knowledgeable other yung kaklase nilang matalino kaysa sa sayo. So, minsan, it's a good way also. You're enhancing the child na marunong na. At the same time, you are also enhancing the other student or learner kasi mas tiwala sila sa classmate nila kesa sa iyo. So, pag tinanong, pwede pala yun, ma'am? Yeah, pwede yun. Kaya we are also employing peer teaching. Okay? So, next time. Okay. Now, this also, no, para mas ma-enhance natin, The scaffolding mechanism of Levi-Vygotsky can also be connected with what we call as the cognitive apprenticeship. So, kung gusto nyo hanapin, pwede rin po. It's a theory, no? Cognitive apprenticeship. Apprentice. Diba? Pag sinabi mong apprentice, ano ba tawag ko dito? Yung uh, kasama mo, hindi kasi katuwang mo sa pagsusolve ng isang bagay. Apprentice mo, apprenticeship. So, how do we do it? So, as you can see in here, we have modeling, coaching, scaffolding, reflection, exploration, articulation, hanggang sa they could do it on their own. So, how do we do it? How do we do scaffolding also? Via the you do, I do, we do, you teach. So, ito na yun. Sa modeling, no? Experts, like us, teachers and mentors, will demonstrate a task explicitly. So, tayo ang muna sa board. Again, no? New students or novices will build a conceptual model of the task at hand. Kasi bago yun, nakikita nila, okay, so ito palang gagawin. And so, modeling. Now, that is the part of I do as a teacher. The next is now coaching. Sa coaching, during coaching, the expert will give feedback to your students. Here na yan. So, magbibigay ka ngayon ng feedback sa kanya. Iikot ka or try mo ngayon na habang nagsusolve sila, guiding mo pa rin, coaching. That is now we do. Together, we'll solve. Pwede kasing nasa harapan ka, okay, Mr. ganito or ganyan. Or pwedeng umiikot ka rin. That's we. Now, you try to scaffold. Pag sa scaffolding, in education kasi may iba pang term ng scaffolding. Sa scaffolding, dahan-dahan mo ngayong i-increase ang intensity. No? Law of intensity, dahan-dahan mo ngayong i-increase ang intensity ng examples mo. Here, so in some instances, the expert may have to help with aspects of the task that the student cannot do yet. So, we do yan. So, ang gagawin mo step by step, increase mo ngayon yung intensity. Fourth is articulation. So, here, in articulation, you separate component knowledge and skills to learn them more effectively. And more common is verbalizing or demonstrating the knowledge. So, salita ka talaga ng salita habang ginagawa mo rin siya. So, articulation. And also, in articulation, dito pwedeng pumasok yung hayaan mo ang mga bata mag-articulate on their learning. So, yung tatanungin mo, are you sure? Are you sure with the process? Kaya ganyan ka. So, that's articulation. So, this process now gets students to articulate their knowledge, reasoning, and problem-solving domain. So, ayan. That is now you do. Kasi hinayaan mo sila, meron pa yung time, di ba? You can also do this, no? I'm sure you have experiences. Pinasagot mo ka ni teacher, and then sabi niyo, can you explain your answer? Can you explain how you derive on your answer? That is articulation. You let them articulate, no? Bukod sa ikaw, after mo noon sa modeling, you let your students articulate their answer. How did you arrive on the topic? What's your process? Ganyan ka. That is articulation. That is you do. Pa-explain mo sa bata, and pag napa-explain mo sa bata, mas may intindihan nila. Or the more they articulate the process, ma'am, ganito po kasi ang first step, then the next step, then the next step. The more you do that, they are now articulating the process that's in their mind, mas nai-embed na yung learning sa. Then you do reflection and exploration. Sa reflection, you allow students to compare their own problem-solving process with those of the expert, another student, and ultimately sa mga experts here. So, you compare and contrast. Dito pwedeng pumasok ang you do and you teach. And the last is exploration. Pagdating sa exploration, this is where now the students have achieved the zone of actual development. They can now do the problem on their own. So, kapag ganon, you let them explore. Bigyan mo ngayon sila ng mga activities that will explore more their abilities. So, ganito yung tinatawag nating scaffolding kay Lev Vygotsky. Okay? So, there are advantages and disadvantages, no, on doing scaffolding. Sa advantages, mas authentic ang learning, mas nakaka-encourage ka ng learner, at the same time, mas na-facilitate mo yung higher order thinking skills or HOTS or the higher order reasoning. Kaya lang may mga disadvantage siya. Unang-una, mahirap mag-scaffold. Pangalawa, it takes more time, napakadaming time for you to give that idea. And lastly, hindi lahat ng resources available sa'yo. Why do I said that? So as you can see in here, no, sa diagram na to, as you can see here, in scaffolding strategies, kailangan may mga visuals ka, may mga realia ka, or realia, mga real examples. For example, you are on igneous rocks, no, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Realia, meaning meron ka talagang sample of igneous rocks. No? Gagamit ka ng mga ibang mga materials, no? Mga starter kits. Kailangan meron ka mga modeling gestures. Sa modeling gestures, marami ka rin pwedeng gamitin dito mga materials na wala sa atin sa school. No? Graphic organizers, gagawa ka pa ng mga graphs mo, and so on. Maraming kailangan sa scaffolding. And it's very disadvantageous, lalo kung kulang ka ng mga resources. Kulang ka ng pwedeng pagkuhanan, like you don't have laptops or data to get new information or books. Mahirap din ang scaffolding. So, kapag nag-i-scaffold ka, dapat you have to make sure that also you are a very good facilitator of learning. No? Dapat marunong ka din. Ma'am, kakatakot naman po, parang hindi na namin kaya. Tandaan nyo po, lahat kaming mga teachers, nagsimula kami sa una. Nagsimula rin po kaming matakot. Kaya lang po, mapag-aaralan mo siya as time goes on because you have already the knowledge. No? May cognitive, ka na dyan. So, kailangan mo na lang is to apply it on the So, try mo lang siyang apply. Everything naman po is makukuha mo siya through sabi nga sa law of exercise, repetition of the stimulus. Pa-repeat, masasanay din po kayo. Okay? So again, ito yung sinasabi ni Vygotsky, no? Kailangan nasa social interaction siya. Yung cognitive development, the intellect of our learners is influenced by the culture of the environment, the language being used, and the social interactions. So, titingnan mo as a teacher, very careful ka din sa cultural context kasi nasa society tayo. Kung ang klase mo po ay diverse, so you have Muslims, you have Christians, you have Hindus, may iba-ibang religion doon. Kapag ikaw na teacher and you are going to talk about morality or something, tapos bigla mo sabihin, having multiple wives is wrong. Yung magkaroon ng ganito, ganyan is wrong, ganyan, ganyan. Be very careful kasi meron ka doong students that are of other religion na tinatanggap ang polygamous or polygyny, no, na culture. So, in the context of culture, be careful din po kayo. Now, for some of the learners, itong language as indirect language, kung paano kayo makipag-usap sa kanila. Kapag ikay mabilis, alam mo yun, we have already said that. Pero kapag, for example, in terms of your language, how are you in transmitting the information to your learners? Ikaw ba yung teacher na iiyak pag inasal ng teacher? O ikaw ba yung you have command, no? You have a great command sa class. The way you transmit information. Language, yan, importante. So, in terms of language, you have verbal language and you have non-verbal language. So, kapag ikaw yung teacher, whatever you say, dapat ginagawa mo. Ito yung tinatawag lang, walk the talk. Yan. Hindi yung sabi ka ng sabi, ganito dapat, ganito. Pero on your, manifestation, physical manifestations, hindi naman nakikita. So, walk the talk. So, parang wag kang maging trash can. Garbage in, garbage out. May sinabi ka, pero parang lumabas lang din. Hindi siya talaga totoo. So, and then you have social interactions. You have to have good rapport with your students. Dapat nabibuild mo yung trust sa students. Dapat you really have ensured or said to your, pinakita mo talaga on your students yung they could socially interact with you. So, sabi ni Vygotsky, for the intellect of learners to prosper, kailangan mo rin itong ipasok. So, ibig sabihin, ma'am, mali si Pelje. I did not say that. So, you can look at this, you can read this, kasi lumalabas sila sa licensure examination. No? Si Vygotsky, si Pelje, lumalabas sila yung mga yan. So, dapat meron kayong alam kung paano sila pagkaibahin sa klase. But one thing is for sure, kapag si Pelje, intra-psychology siya. Pag si Vygotsky, inter. No? Inter-psychologist. Kasi sa kanya, social. Si Pelje, individual. Now, again, So, kay Pelje, it's oneself. Sarili. Intra-psychology. Kay Leigh Vygotsky, with a more knowledgeable other or one or significant other. So, in reality, walang mas tama. Hindi mas tama si Pelje at mas tama si Vygotsky, no. In terms of the development of the intellect of our learners and for you to facilitate learning, kailangan i-combine mo to. Kasi whatever they have learned, whatever we have learned in the social context, in the societal context, inside our brain, tayo yan. And we process this information together. Papasok dyan si Pelje sa loob mo. Pero dapat, hindi mo rin ibabaliwala si Leigh Vygotsky kasi sasabihin din niya sa'yo yung importance ng social interaction, yung presence ng teacher, yung presence ng others. So, kailangan combine yan. You have the intra and you have the inter. For the intellect of your learners. So, kailangan ikaw na teacher, no, alam mong i-handle in the social, cultural, or social interaction, in the social, cultural context, ang learners mo. At the same time, you take consideration, you should take consideration also of their ability to process their own cognition, as Pelje says, so that there will be proper learning. Okay? So that their intellect will really be hastened. Kung talagang mahahasan natin talaga ang intellect ng students. Because their intellect really, pag ang pinag-usapan natin is cognition, psychology, and learning and intellect. Very dynamic. Ang dami mong kailangan i-consider. And take note, iba-iba tayo. So, kailangan you know how to play up on the intra and you know also how to play up on the inter. No? Yung social and inside ng mga learners natin. And that is for intellect. No? Again, for summary ha, for 5 senses, no, pinag-usapan na natin dyan, the more senses that you use, no, the more the learning is, the more the cognitive faculty of your learner is developed. Dale cones of experiences, instincts and imagination. Sa memory, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan si Edward Thorndike on his laws of learning, the primary and the secondary. And for the intellect, we have John Pelge and Leigh Vygotsky's cognitive development and social-cultural theory. So again, ayan. Nawala na naman po tayo ng ilaw. Ay, actually, hindi po tayo nawala ng ilaw, no? Yung aking husband ay magaling talaga when it comes to that. Anyway, ayan. Nakita nyo na po ako ulit. So, again, no? This is what you call graphic organizer. Pero, hindi siya ganun kagandang graphic organizer, no? Again, pag 5 senses, Edgar Dale's cone of experiences, instincts and imagination, memory, huwag niyo pong kakalimutan si Edward Thorndike, laws of learning, and then sa intellect, we have John Pelge's theory of cognitive development and Leigh Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory. So, that will be all for the cognitive faculty of our learners. Then, the next stop on the next meeting or next discussion will be on the appetitive faculties of our learners. This will be the feelings, emotions, and rational will or motivation of our learners. I hope you learned something again on our discussion on the cognitive faculties of your learners. I hope I gave enough and I hope na-satisfy ko pa rin po kahit pa paano yung request or expectation ninyo on the first day that I will give more information. Sana po kahit na tama po dito, naka-video record tayo, don't fail to watch this kasi parang nag-discuss pa rin po ko as if you are there. So I hope our efforts as teachers, as your more knowledgeable other, will be paid no ng respect and equal efforts from you, our learners. So with that, thank you and I hope to see you again on the next discussion. Thank you again. Be safe, keep safe, and maraming salamat po. I hope you learned some. Bye!